So okay, fine then. So okay. So first of all, what is Guideware? Or I mean, insurance. It's good that you people already know about some insurance industry concept. So Guideware basically is nothing but one of the product which serves all the insurance need into market. Guideware has few competitor also like Socotra, Duck Creek. These are the Guideware. So Guideware basically it's a framework. Like we have Java framework, we have Java Spring framework, we have Python framework. Similarly, Guideware is also a framework. What it does is it provides you the support for policy center, for billing center, for claim center, and there are a lot of other things also that I'll teach you in this class. But on a high level, this they provide they serve the insurance industry business standard for policy billing and claim. Mainly they are into this business, but now they are in portal business also. That we will I'll teach you when we come to that session. So here in our very beginning, we will learn what is introduction about policy center, what is policy center, and what is its role in among all the centers, and how important it is. And I mean, when we work on that, so we'll see what is the role of policy center in Guidewire insurance suite product. What all product Guidewire has. Out of that, what is the role of policy center here? Then how this entire Guidewire product landscape is designed actually. So that we will see. And what all Guidewire products are available into market, that we will see. What is the value proposition of policy center here, and then we'll see the complete Guidewire application architecture, and what all I mean how Guidewire can integrate with a lot of different integration point as a different integration system as well. How do we authenticate, how do we do the authorization authentication when if you want to onboard a new underwriter, or if you want to onboard a new agent, how do we do that process? So we will learn this here in authorization authentication part. User interface, how the Guidewire user interface look like, how do we use it, I mean how to basically navigate through different on different transactions, how do we create different account policy, those things we will learn here. Then how do we do the policy center implementation, those kind of thing we will learn in the this is the high level overview we'll start with. And then the policy file and account file. So we will learn about how really this policy center data model is nothing but where the policy center keeps the data. Data means basically the record means I mean which database they use to keep the record. There are a lot of type of database which policy center supports to integrate to maintain their data. So how basically how to design their data model. Then how do we search different policies for different type of people, and what is the policy center contract? Contract means let's say the end-to-end contract. After you took the quote, you agree on everything, and you finalize the policy. What is the end-to-end term? What is the policy contract? So that contract also we will create, and we will see. Now, what all this is very important. So, what all policies, what all types of policy transactions are there in Guidewire, and how do we create it? So, we will see that what all type of policy transactions are there. What is this question that definitely they will ask in interview? What is the policy life cycle? So, these things also will ask. And policy transaction logic. How do we basically when we create each transaction? What is the logic behind to create those transactions? How do we represent the policies in Guidewire, and how do we view the policies in Guidewire? Those things we'll see in policy center. Then how do we initiate a new code? There are two type of code. One is quick code and one is full code. So when quick code is not, it generally basically when we will take very few information from the customer and create a code for them immediately if you need to give something, right? Let's say if you go to Policy Bazaar, or in Policy Bazaar, what you give very few information, and then you see the quote of like 4 5 or maybe whatever insurance company you select. You see like if you take this coverage, then what are your premium? If you take this thing. So I mean this kind of features are also available in Guidewire. How do we create a quick code? By providing the very few information, because customer they cannot wait. If you tell them that you have to provide this, they may not have all the information at the same time. So now this is all business. So Guidewire understand that, and they have designed a quick code also with very few information. They will give you a code. If you agree, then they will take you more information later, because they want to grab the customers. Simple. So we will see how do we create a quick codes here, and then after this is anyway required. If you do the quick code also, full application code is anyway required. So full application code, we'll see how do we create a new code for the customer. What are the qualification basically for to create a new code? Who can create the codes? What are the policy information we need to create the code? What are the product and which all product the customer is going to buy? How do we enter the product specific information into the system? How do we basically the bind and issue the policy for the customer? So those kind of things we will learn into this when we come to this session. Then we'll come to renewal. Same thing. Let's say we generally in Guideware, I have, as per my experience, I have seen the people sign the I'm sorry, people sign the contract for 1 year, but let's say after 1 year they want to continue the same contract. How basically how they can renew their contract for another year, for one more year. So we'll see that how do we create the renewal jobs and system. What all pre-renewal direction, let's say before they start the renewal, if they want to give any specific instruction to their underwriter or to the agent, how they can define that pre-renewal directions into system. What all underwriter referral leads and those things we will learn. Then how do we really work with this renewal job? How underwriter or agent will create the renewal job for you, and what is the significance of that? How do you track it? So those things we will learn into renewal thing. Policy change is important. um, uh, let's say you are taking a contract for 1 year, and in between that 1 year you want to make some changes, some amendments you want to do. You want to add few more coverages into in between your policy term. How do you do that? And what is the impact after you add those things during the term on your policy premium and all those things. So we will learn this, the policy change transaction, and how the policy transaction graphs basically it will be if you perform multiple changes, how this entire basically the sequence and the ordering look like. Then what is preemption? This is an interesting topic. We'll learn this. I don't want to confuse you today. This is a bit tricky, so we will learn this in this class. Then let's say then in this cancellation transaction set class, we will learn about cancellation, reinstatement, and rewrite. Cancellation basically, let's say you already have a contract for 1 year. Now you are not happy with the insurance company provider, service provider, or basically you're not happy with your claims. Like you have a policy, but they are not settling your claim, and they are saying now you have to pay 20% copay, 40% copay. You're not really happy with the insurance company coverages. No, coverages you have, you're paying the premium, but you're not happy with the services basically. Then you can initiate a cancellation also. There are a lot of type of cancel. There are 2 or 3 types of cancellation we will learn. That in some cases you will have to pay the cancellation fee. Some case and you don't need to pay the cancellation fees, and in some cases they will take you some prorated amount, and based on that they will give you the refunded amount. So, and then reinstatement, let's say after you cancel the policy and you change the mind, you say no, I wanted to continue with the same policy, then you can start the reinstatement. So those transactions we will create into when we come to this session. Rewrite means, let's say you are having a policy contract, but in the contract there are a lot of issues are there. I mean, the contract which you have given to the agent or to your underwriter, they did not basically create the same contract in the system, and when you got the policy contract document, you are not happy with the contract that which you wanted to sign. So in that case, what they do is, now if you're not happy with the contract, they will simply cancel your contract, or they will the current contract, and they will rewrite the complete contract. So basically they are going to start a new policy transaction for you, and they will give you a new policy contract for so we will learn this into Guidewire rewrite thing. This is complicated. So this is out of sequence transaction. This is complicated. So this one I don't want to give any heads up, but this out of sequence transaction, just a heads up. Any transaction, let's say you are having a term policy for 1 year, and now you are making a policy change after 3 months or 4 months. You already have a change of 3 months, and then you want to perform a change. Before the actual change. I mean, you already have a change, and you want to make one more change, which is prior to this change. In that case, these transaction comes into picture, out of sequence transaction. So this is complicated as my understanding, and but it will take some time to understand. I don't want to confuse today. We'll learn this into this class. Now, merging and splitting account, there are a lot of features Guidewire provides in Policy Center to split your merger account in case, let's say, there are husband and wife, and not husband wife. Let's say there are two people who got married. Now they were having two different policies with the same insurance company, and now after they marry, they want to run the single account. They want to club their policies into a single account. So in that case, they can come together and they can do the merge of their both the policies can be merged into a single account. Same kind of split, like the husband and wife, they are there and they got divorced or they got separated. Now, earlier they were having single account, two policies. Now they want to separate out one. Wife says, no, I want this policy. Husband says, I want this policy. In that case, what they will do is basically they can maintain their own policies into their own account. So those things we will learn here, that how do we split and merge policies? How do we copy basically different policy transaction? Let's say you are having in US generally what I've seen is, let's say you are going to have insured with your kid. You have your husband and your kid. Now let's say the kid is initially generally he's not able to make the premium, right? But still, if you want to insure the kid, it will be insured along with your policy. Now kid grows up until 18 years and he is able to earn some money and he wants a mom and dad, I want to come out and I want to run this policy by my own. So if we want to come out from that policy contract, how do we do that? So those things also we will learn, this is split and merging this thing and move and rewrite. So these, there are a lot of concepts are there, so we will learn this into this class. This is interesting. Yeah. Product model, actually Guidewire support different type of products. So Guidewire does not have into life insurance. Remember this, they are not in life insurance. Okay. So Guideware has a lot of product, like they have personal auto, they have workers comp, they have your general liability, they have your property insurance, and they have your inline marine, they have umbrella insurance. So there are a lot of products which Guideware provide as part of their base framework. So before any customer they come to Guideware, Guideware will provide the base framework. In the base framework, a lot of products are already configured. But if you want to enhance, or the customer wants to enhance their or create their new product or enhance their product, they take the reference of the existing product and then they do the enhancement based on their customer needs. So how do we do the product configuration into the product model? So there is one more application called uh, product model. There basically what business analysts what they do is they basically they design the product as per the business need. They design the product and they need help from the developers also, because there are few places where business analysts cannot write the complete logic and it is not provided. So then they have to take help from the developers also in order to design the product the way they want. Okay, so we will see here that how do we create the primary pattern, what is availability here, how do we define a new coverage, how do we make sure that new coverage are available for this product, what is grandfathering, what is offering. So those kind of concepts we will learn into the product model class. Then how do we create a new product, how do we create the new policy line? These things we will learn, what are coverable, what is coverage, all those things we will learn here. Now coverages, so here when we will configure the coverages, we will see how to configure the coverage patterns. So what is coverage and coverage categories, how do we configure the coverage and coverables basically, and how we will make sure that once we add the coverage, that it is shown to that specific product on the user interface. So those kind of concept we will learn. Then coverage terms, under the coverage you will see a lot of coverage terms also, like what is your limit, what is your deductible. So those kind of the coverage terms setup we will see into this class. Coverage attribute, coverage type, this model type, there are a lot of things are there. I mean, these are all configuration side, so we will don't go with these all technical terms. So when we will start doing it, I don't want to confuse you today, because this is something all technical terms. So when we start setuping this, we will learn this. There are different type of modifiers also, and modifier basically is, let's say if insurance company wants to give you some discount in terms of, let's say you are having a car insurance. In the car insurance, you are having a speed limit facility, or you have a an anti-theft system. Based on that, because it is really helpful for the insurance company, the risk is less, right? Because if you have the anti-theft system in your engine, or I mean there is a device coming now, uh, in luxurious car it is already there, it comes with that. And if you have um, if you have this airbags and all facility, I mean most of the cars now it is mandatory by government of India that you should have, but US most of the people they have this thing, airbags and all, airbags facility. And if you have speed limit if you have in your car, if you have anti-theft system, and there are a lot of other features also if you have in your car. Based on that, or if you are a very good driver, let's say you go to a training class and they give you a A grade certificate, then you are really a very good driver, right? So those, based on those details, what they give you, they, if they want to give you some discount, what they do is after the premium is calculated, they do some, they, based on these indicators, right? They have some indicators in order to identify the the what kind of feature you have in your car, or whatever insurance you are going to take. That we will learn. Based on that, if you want to give you some discount, they define, this is basically the underwriter, or yeah, mainly the underwriter. They define some discount in the system, and based on that they give you the discount on top of your when you buy a new policy contract. Then question set, there are a lot of type of question set also we have to configure into Guidewire, because they cannot give you policy. In India it is easy to take, but in US it is not, or not. I would say not in outside India it is really difficult to take insurance. There's a lot of questions they will ask, because it is not simply to get insurance. Here you can get your driving license and all without going there for the test, but in US it is not the case. They will ask you a lot of questions whether you have, I mean, if you have done a lot of violations, a lot of accident, they may not even give you the policy. Let's say if you have taken a policy for 1 year, and in 1 year the policy contract was for $1,000, like you have taken a policy for $1,000. I mean, you insured a car which is of $15,000, and you took a policy. I mean, in order to insure that car, you have taken a policy of, let's say, $200 or $300, sorry, $3,000 or $4,000, and you are making a claim of, I mean, let's say you have a lot of claims you have made. I mean, in the 1 year time, you have made like 4 or 5 claims of your car or something, car or whatever it is. Then it's a loss for the insurance company. And then if they see you do not have a very good history, so they will see your credit history, they will see your claim history, they will see your learning history, basically. Then based on, and how many accident and violations you have done, because in US on every traffic signal you will see a device which will capture your violations, your accident, everything is there. So there is a system called as MVR in US. So they call it as a motor vehicle record system. That system captures everything. Everything means everything. Even you cross a signal red light, it will be, you will be there, your car will be registered there. Now in India also they are setting that, but in US it is there. So those records, what they do, insurance company, they have the integration with the system. So before you, as soon as you enter the VIN number of your car, they pull all the information from there, and they see how many accident and violations you have done. Based on that, they can decide whether they want to give you the insurance or not. So they ask you a lot of questions, and then these questions underwriter setup, they will ask if they are not happy. Some questions set up just to give you the overview. Basically, if they want to review something, they will ask whether your license is suspended, your license, how many years you have the license. Those kind of things we will learn into this class. Then cost differential, one of the complex topic. How do we, basically how policy center decide that what is the cost of this person, based on which coverage. I mean, what basically decide that what would be your premium, per year premium. So we will see here that policy center financial, what is the cost, what is the financial transactions we have, how many types of transactions we have in Guidewire, how do we see the cost transactions basically. So this is important. Now document, Guidewire also maintains different type of document. Let's say after you buy a contract, they will send you one contract in mail, or they will email you the contract, plus they will mail you also. It will be in your mailbox. You can go outside your home, you can get it the mailbox, and then you can see the policy contract. So there are different type of document which I mean, we can create in Guidewire and send it to the customer. How do we configure those contract, sorry, those document? Where do we, how do we generate it? Where do we keep it? All those kind of thing, concepts we will learn here. How do we basically learn with different type of document? Then notes are basically, it is for the underwriter. If they want to notes, basically there's, it's like your sticky note, right? If you want to, let's say before beginning of your day, right, you put something in your sticky note that today I want to do this, this is my priority item. Similarly for underwriter and agent also, if they want to remind something, right, if they want to keep if they want to keep remembering something, what they do is they create the note and they put the information there. So if they want to refer in future something, they can go to the note and they can see, like, for this customer what I need to do, and something, anything, it can be written in the note. Underwriting authority, here the business rules, very important role to define the business and the underwriting authority. So this is, here we will learn that how do we create the business rules, and how do we set up, I mean, how do we access the business rule, how do we set up the business rule. So here I have seen in policy center, most of the BAs, they play the important, they create the business rules in the system. We will learn this: how do we configure the new business rule, how do we access the new business rule, how do we define the checking set and blocking point, what are the basically what are underwriting rules. So those rules, these rules basically are written for underwriters, but business analysts, they help them to write this rule. So these rule configuration, yeah, this is most of the things are done by business analysts, but a developer also do that. Policy revisioning, we will learn here. I think these things are already there. I mean, this preemption we will see, out of signal we will see. Revisioning means, let's say, a renewal thing. I mean, if you want to renew a policy after 1 year, those things we will learn. Then we will learn here policy center contact. There are different type of contact also. Contact means every person you onboard into your policy contract, it's a contact here. So there are policy level contact, there are account level contact. So how do we basically maintain those contacts in into Guidewire? Those things we will learn here. That how do we work? How do we see which person has what access, which person has which account access, which person has which policy access, who can access what? So those kind of thing, and how do we basically configure a new contract? How do we do the synchronization from account to policy contract? So these things we will learn into this when we set up the policy center contacts. So in the introduction, we'll start with the policy center introduction first. What is the role of policy center in Guidewire? What are the Guidewire product landscape? What are Guidewire products and all those things? We'll start with this. Now here you see that no, this is the Guidewire product landscape. Uh, this basically whatever you are seeing in this circle, this is all Guidewire. Whatever Guidewire services provide, they provide basically into this area. They are into core operation support, they are into data management support, they are into business intelligence support, and this is basically they maintain their system of record. Now here they have the external access, they have monitoring and monitoring and guidance. This is the external party, but this is whatever you're seeing in the circle. This is all Guidewire here. Okay. So basically, Guidewire provides support to core insurance by the carrier and of the operation system of record. Let's say if any customer, I mean the customer, they can be using any other insurance company tool, right? It's an insurance company product, but it may not be the Guidewire product, right? Let's say if a new customer, they want to come and they want to use Guidewire. So what Guidewire they do is they provide already the infrastructure to basically migrate their existing system into the new system, right? They have to do the migration, right? If they are working on a mainframe system and they want to come on Guidewire, how they do that? So they basically they provide support to their all the system, their policy system, their billing system, their rating system, their claim system, all the systems. So it depends on the customer requirement which product they want to migrate. So here they are into core operations and then data management operation also, and the business intelligence operation as well. So basically here the Guidewire, what they do is they build the software product that help the property and casualty insurance to replace the the legacy core system. I told you legacy means their existing system which they are using. But if they want to come to Guidewire, they have to replace, they have to migrate their systems into Guidewire first, and they have to transform the business based on the Guidewire business. Okay, so here whatever you see, and one more thing, this policy center application is not for the end customers. End customer means, let's say you and me, if I'm going to take a policy in Guidewire, I cannot do that. I cannot access this policy center system. This system is mainly designed for the people like claim adjuster, for underwriter, risk manager, customer care representatives, billing clerk, and so on. But for the customer, basically this application, the policy center application is not designed. The customer will not be able to access. If let's say if you want to find, if you want to take a new contract in Guideware, what you do is you will talk to your agent. What the agent will have access to the system, they will create policy on your behalf. Same thing for underwriter also, like agent, they will communicate with the underwriters, and underwriters will create the policy. So who agent, you already know, right? Who are agent? Agent means through which you can take the policies. And underwriters basically is underwriter, they are the expert into the system. What they do is they review each and everything. They keep an eye on each and every transaction, and they make sure that none of the fault or none of the fraud information is going to the system. They are the very high level or high minded people who will review everything, whether agent is creating, because agent will not have access to create a lot of things. Underwriter will have access to create a lot of things. Agent mainly he can create your account, and then he can create a code for you maybe. But after the code, once the if you, who will approve your contract? These underwriters, basically underwriter, they are the authorized people who will basically approve or reject your contract. So they review everything, how they review and how they got the notification, how they review everything. Those things we will learn. And they, that's what I'm saying. They have to set up different type of business rules. By business rules, they get notification, they come to system, they review your contract. If they're not fine, they reject your contract also, and they can approve your contract as well. So this is basically, this is the area where Guidewire supports here. This is the high level landscape of Guidewire. Now you see that right here, same thing. It's the same thing got replaced with the actual thing here. Now in this area, what Guidewire support, Guidewire has policy center, billing center, and claim center. These are the mainly the core insurance product. We they call it as in Guidewire. They have something called as info center also, and the data hub. So info center basically different type of reporting. If they want to have different audit report or a lot of this thing that here this yeah, for reporting they use this info center and data hub if they want to do the data management here. So they do this data, data management using the system, but they support these type of business also. But mainly in this training we are going to focus on this product, which is policy center product here. But Guidewire has, apart from this, Guidewire has a lot of other product also, like rating engine, contact manager, and all those things. So those things we will learn. I mean, you will learn when you start, when you work with some client, right? So one second. Yeah, so this data hub, basically data hub is, this is for store the different type of data, standard and carriers data and all those things. This is for reporting the use. This is for handling the billing management, how to basically your billing cycle will be, and all those things. All decision will be taken by this thing. Claim center means this, they basically handle your claims. Once you file a claim, what is your claim life cycle? How the claim review will happen, and till the time you file a claim and it is settled, how our entire journey is maintained here. This is basically here you file the policy contract. These systems are communicated to each other. Basically, this is all communicated to each other, and then they pass information to each other by having different type of integrations here. And here, how do we access this application? I mean, this is the core applications. Okay, how do we access the application? We access through mobile and portal. In the mobile also you can access, and in the portal. Now currently they have launched something called as portal. So portals is accessible for the customer, but these application is not actionable application. Customer cannot access it. But if, let's say, underwriter or agent, if they want to access, they can access through their mobile and portals. This is Guidewire Live. I mean, there's some kind of and yeah, some kind of, let's say, integration they do, like weather reporting they do, location information they find out. So those kind of, these are the actionable tools, basically actionable application. Their Guidewire connects between with these applications here. Now policy center browser. Okay, now let me show you that. Okay, so first understand the role in policy center. What are rules are there in policy center? So first of all, Policy Center is a browser-based application. Okay, you can access this application in your Chrome browser, in your Mozilla browser, in your Firefox, and in your any browser you can access. But Guidewire recommends that you use that Google Chrome in order to get the better experience. So you use Google Chrome to access the Policy Center application. Now, who can access this application? I told you, right? The end customer cannot access this application. Either it can be accessed to the producer or agent. You know the difference, what is agent and what is producer. So producer basically it's an independent entity, and agency is nothing but it's a group of people, or it's a company basically who has a tie-up with the insurance company, and they bring business for them. This agent company can be of insurance company. It can be the client company also. It can be a third-party company also. But producer is an independent entity. Producer, it can be a third party also. It can be an employee of the same agent company as well. So these are the basically, and so who can log in? This producer can log in. Underwriter, I have already told who are these guys, basically who creates and maintain. So producer, who refers the account and carriers, they onboard the customer, they create the account. Underwriters, basically they create and manage the policy. Yeah, and supervisor means supervisor. Now let's say there are few things which underwriter can also not do. So then these guys come into the picture. Supervisor basically is, if any person, if they want to sign any contract which is like very exceptional means, let's say you have a car and you want to insure a car of 2 lakh, I mean like say $200,000. It's a very big amount, right, for the insurance company, because if the insurance is high, Your premium will also be, premium whatever it is, but your claim can also be high, right? If you're going to insure a $200,000 car, you see that if any part, it will be really costly, right? It will be like if anything happens to your car, then it's a big amount they have to reserve for you, right? So those kind of decision taken by these supervisors. So in underwriting also we have different categories of underwriter. We have level 1 to level 5. So if any underwriter who are in level 1, they are not able to take any decision, they send it to level 2. If level 2 is also not able to decide, they send it to level 3. Level 3, I mean, I'll in this understand very simple term. Here, uh, this one, let's say our appraisal process, right? It goes to our manager, then manager reviews and they give you a rating. Then it is reviewed by the supervisor, right? The supervisor can change your rating also. I think they can basically update. They can update your rating also. So it goes to different it goes to different levels just to but generally what I've seen is this underwriter are the very authorized people, and they can do that. But if something is there into their, I mean, if it is not into their hand, they pass the information to the supervisor to review that basically. And once they review and they approve, then only the policy contract can be created in policy center, otherwise it cannot be created. So these main are the three main people who basically who access this policy center application, and they work on this closely work on this application here. Now how the value proposition look like in policy center. Now policy center here, if you see, right, this is the complete contract. I mean, when you file a new policy, this is the complete contract, the policy center contract we have. This we call it as coverage, right, and this we call it as a coverable. We will learn this. What I mean, don't confuse with the term. But before we begin, I mean, just understand two terms. One we call it as insured, one we call as an insurer. So insurer, nothing but it's your it's your insurance company. In Guidewire term, we call it as we call it as a carrier. Either we call it as a carrier or we call it as an insurer. So insurer means the company which you are going to take the insurance. Insured means the person who is going to insure. Insured means like who is the liable person. Whoever is a liability is that person is insured. So basically, if I'm going to take a policy, I am the insured here. I'm going to take a policy with any insurance company. That insurance company is a carrier, and the insurer for me. So these terms is really important. In Guidewire industry, they use this term here. One second. So, okay. Now here in this entire policy contract, there are different type of processes they take part. Okay. So I mean, when you create a policy contract, you have to add an insured. You have to add the location. Let's say if you're going to take a property policy, you have to define the location of your property, how the payment system is designed here, what are the risk analysis, what are the risks are there. So and how do we basically which product policy you're going to take, what are the policy chain transaction you can create into this standing, what are the forms are nothing but the document, what are documents it can be created for this contract, what all the contracts are there, contracts are there into this policy contract. So in this entire policy center journey, these are the processes which take participate. We will learn this and we will create a new policy contract, new code. You will see this, everything will take participate. They will get involved, and after you complete, you fill all this information, then only this contract can be created. You see, they have different type of people. They are customer care representative, they are, I think they are the agent, and they are the supervisor, and they are the underwriter. So different type of people, they take participate. And once they among themselves, once they all align, then only the policy contract gets created into the system. Now here, this is the high level architecture of policy center. It's a same industry standard architecture. So they follow the three-tier architecture. Three-tier architecture means, so in any application, what do you need? You need application layer, you need a data layer, and you need a UI layer. So UI start from customer login, not customer, sorry, underwriters or agent, they will log in from here. So they have one user interface. I told you, right? This can be your Google Chrome, this can be your Firefox or any other browser, but Guidewire recommends you use to Chrome. So the application can be accessed from the browser here. Now, once the application is accessed, they have to write the application logic, right? So in application logic, we write into this policy center here, in this core application here. Now, policy center, it's an application based where I told you about the data model. So what all data model is support? So they policy center store the information into a operational database. Here, this what we call it as a data layer. So in any application, in any, not in insurance, I'm talking about the general. In any application, if you want to design, it should have this three layer: this application layer, this presentation layer, application layer, and the data layer. So presentation layer, your user interface. This is your basic, the code logic you write here in the application layer, and here in the data layer here. So this is the industry standard they maintain here. Now here I told you this one I told you this application logic will be written into Guidewire Policy Center. Database, they support SQL Server, they support Oracle, they support there's one more data. Yeah, so they have Oracle, they have SQL Server, and they have cloud, and even this is going to replace with the cloud now. So Guidewire has Guidewire Cloud also. So this now instead of database, they are putting all the information into cloud as well. And it can be a, so Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, there are a lot of database they support, and the Guidewire, you can integrate the Guidewire call center application with these type of database to this. Now here, this is the standard architecture. Now, if the policy center wants to communicate with any third party, let's say your authentication system, not like the user information will be there into the database. So if the customer want to authenticate any person with any third party, let's say LDAP or something like authorization authentication, they do with the external system. So these integration happens into this layer, into application layer. They do all the integration happens into this layer. You see that no claim integration is there, reporting integration is there, billing integration is there, address and authentication. These implementation or integration happens into this middleware, which is the Guidewire application layer. Basically, Policy Center does this all integration here. Okay. Now these are what all. So here we have seen couple of integration points, but what are the actual integration points are there? You see that no, there are different type of integration which Guidewire Policy Center does with different third-party systems. We have legacy policy admin, we have production system, storage system, billing system. This is for the rating, that how this credit rating happens, claims rating, and this authentication, agent management system. Let's say if they want to load the producer from the external system, they load using this system. If they want to store the contact into contact manager, they do the integration with contact manager, address normalization, reporting. So these are the basic standard common integration which Policy Center does with these systems here. This is all technical basically. Now here, that this is the beginning of Policy Center. How do we access the Policy Center application? So I told you, right, Google, Chrome, and Mozilla are the preferred one, but I think Policy Center, they recommend use Chrome. And how do we access? We should have a Policy Center URL to access this Guidewire application, and you should have one username and password to log in into this application. We will see this in some time. Yeah, this is okay. So now let me show you. So this is my this is the Guidewire Studio which I'm running. Okay, and you also have to do the same thing. Once it is run, how do you access it? I already have. So what you have to do is on every call center OTP application runs, how it is run is you have to type localhost. Okay, and it is running on this port 8081. That's the default port for all call center application, and then you have to put /PC and just put enter here. You see that my call center application is coming up. So how do you access it? You need URL. Okay, so that URL you need, and then once your call center application is running, then you can access the call center application from the browser. It is there. Now I have two types of user. I have one underwriter, I have one agent. So this is my underwriter. You see Applegate, right? Applegate is my underwriter. I told you, right? Agent and underwriter only can access this application. So currently I'm logging in with the underwriter. If you have proper username and password, then you just click on login. Then you will be able to access the call center application. Now it will come up. Yeah, so don't get confused here. This we will learn these all things of what are these things are there. What is account policy, contact search, everything you learn here. As soon as you come here, you will see the homepage. Homepage also you can design what you want to see on the homepage. That is also configured. We will see that also. But this is how we log in into the Policy Center actual application. And anywhere if you go, this is all same. And for every client you will see the same thing here. And we are taking training on Guidewire version 10, which is the latest one. Before that, if you're going to work on any other version, the UI, the user interface might be changed, but concept will not change. Concept will be same. But this is the latest application. Most of the client they are working on it, and yeah, and Guidewire 10 is the latest actually currently. So this is now here. how this authentication and authorization basically it works. So in this application, right, which we are running, this is the Guidewire OOTP application. Okay, it does not have any integration with third party to authenticate the user. So what they are doing basically is, as soon as you enter your username and password, it comes to Guidewire application layer. Here application layer, it checks whether you have proper username and password added into system. They keeps the username and password into the Polycenter database. Here, after you enter Polycenter, if you give your username and password, they verify whether this Polycenter username and password is there. If it is there, you are the proper the proper customer, and they will authenticate you. Now, after you log in, after your credentials authenticated, what all thing you can access into Polycenter, who will decide? So those things are decided based on the permission. What all permissions you have in the system, those things will be decided by here. So there is something, once is authentication and authorized. Authentication means, are you the proper user? That is called authentication based on your username and password. Now, what you can access in the system, those things comes into the authorization part. So those we call the permission and role-based access. Now here, if you see, this is the underwriter. This guy can do a lot of things in the system. This guy can create an account, policy, contact, a lot of things he can. Now, if I log out and if I log in with a producer, let's say if I'm logging with a producer, do I have any producer? Yeah, let's say this is the producer. Okay. Now, if I log in with the producer, yeah, you see that, no, this guy does not have account access. This guy has very few access, right? You see that. So this guy even cannot create a policy. This guy has access only to search policies. Even he can create a new account, but he has a very limited access. So who decide that? So we have, that's what I'm saying. We have the role-based access in every policy system. It's not like every customer can access everything. Based on your role and everything. One second. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so based on what role you have in the system, are you the underwriter, are you the supervisor, are you the agent? Based on that, policy center will allow you to see the information, and not everything can be shown to the every customer. It depends on your role. We will see the role configuration also. How do we do the role configuration? How do you know that this person is an underwriter, this person is an agent, or this person is a supervisor? How do we configure those roles, yeah, into policy center? You guys are there, right? Hello? Madhuparna, Veena, you are there. You are listening, right?
Yeah, Mukul.
Okay, fine. There was a long silence, so I just wanted to check that I'm not talking to myself.
Sorry?
There was a long silence, so I just wanted to confirm, because sometimes it happens if
No,
connection
no,
is
no,
maybe
no,
I'm
no. We are
explaining.
listening.
I'm
We
explaining.
start listening.
Yeah, because it had happened with me that I was explaining one hour for myself one day.
No, 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 no. It's not. Okay.
Okay,
We're
so
listening.
here, yeah, okay, thanks for confirming. Here. Yeah, so we were looking into the rules. Now this is all technical, but you don't need to know all those things. But how do we onboard a new user? Those things we will learn here, because that is important. If you want to onboard a new person as an underwriter, as an agent, and those users, we will user creation we will see here. Now here, yeah, so first we'll start with the preference here. Now, one second, let me log in. So I have two types of user. One is underwriter I have. Okay. One is agent I have, and one is supervisor also I have. So there is a user called supervisor. So when you log in, you can log in this super user, right? There's something called a super user, SUNGW. This password is. Now this person is a supervisor and he has all the access, because generally supervisor guys, they have a lot of access in the system, and this guy has most of the access in the system. So I'll use this user. I'll log in with supervisor and show you some functionality here, because this guy only has access to see those features. Now, after you log into this application, what you can do is you can use, first you come here, you see this thing, there's a wheel here, you click on this wheel. Now, if you want to set up, configure this homepage, or if you want to define your user preference, then how do you define? Now you click on this preference. If you click on the preference, there are a lot of things you can do. If you, let's say, if you want to change your password, username or password, you can update from here. If you want to set up your default so Guidewire is not only in US or not in UK or not in Australia. Guidewire is it's around in I think in 30 or 35 countries. So based on that, you see that no, it is they are in Australia, they are in Canada, they are in France, Germany. I mean, there are very few specific region, but I have seen they are in European and a lot of European countries and a lot of places they are there. So it can be configured. This application config can be configured into the regional language. So when you start working on, let's say, for a Norway client, a Norwich client or Danish client, you will see the application into Danish. So those, I mean, it's all same. I mean, development wise, everything will be same, but you can see this into their regional language or their um, um, in their own language. Let's say if it is US and all, we don't feel it because we know that English we know. Let's say if you go to Germany, you will see that a complete application in German. So those kind of regional setting they can do here if they want to see that, and if they want to see in German, let's say German, they can set it here. So the entire all text will change into German. So those kind of setup we can, and now startup page we show, right? As soon as I log in, you see that no, I saw this page. Now, if you are not happy with this onboarding page, you can change your startup page also. Here you can see different page. You can, if you want to see search page, activity page, submission page. If you want to, as soon as you log in, you want to see all your this thing, all your submissions, all your codes basically. You can set up that also. So this is based on the user preference. If you have access to this to set up the user preference, you can set up your home page as well. But generally we see the desktop. Why we see the desktop? Because we can see all the information here. Here in the preference one, right? In the preference one, we can see the consolidated information, like how many activities I have, how many accounts I have, how many submissions we have. You see that no, in one page I can see most of the thing, that what all the activities are pending for me. So these are the and what is the overview? You see that no, complete overview I can see here. How many activities are pending for me? How many codes are created for me? How many change requests are created for me? How many renewals are waiting for me? How many cancellation transactions I need to perform? So everything in one view, I can see everything here. That's why the most of the user they prefer to see this page, but you can change it also. Now coming to, okay, so this is the permission one we are talking about. Yeah, I have already shown this, right? Like say, when we log in with Alice, like with underwriter, we saw few options, right? Very few. I mean, we saw most of the options like create account, policy, and a lot of things. But when we log in with the underwriter, like perceivable processor, I mean, sorry, the producer. This guy is a producer. We could not see that this guy does not have access to create the account. Even he does not have access to create the policy also. He can, whatever policies are created by underwriter, this guy can only pass the information to underwriter. Underwriter will create the policy into the system. So here this is how they basically they wanted to understand, based on user permissions, your accessibility will be reduced, or it can be increased and can be reduced, it can be decreased also. How do you log out? Log out I have already shown you. If you want to, once you log in, you come here, there is an option called log out, so you can log out with that person.
Thing who can create the policy behalf of the customer?
Policy will be created by either agent or underwriters.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So they will means what is the process? Means Guidewire will create any code for the agent
that's
or
correct.
any policy.
That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah. So Guidewire will create, no, not Guidewire, but agent will create a code into Guidewire. So agent,
Okay.
let's say you are a new customer, you want to see, I mean, see, first customer when they come into the system, they don't, I mean, before they take any policy, they go to market and they look for different options as well. I know customers, they do the comparison first. After they
Hmm.
happy with the policy contract and premium and everything, then only they go ahead and then they take the policy, right?
Yeah,
So
no,
what they
means
do,
my question is that I
hmm,
understood. I know the process. My question is that in other application, what when customer come to bank or customer come to any insurance agent, so the agent on the bankers or means other person, they have the different code to generate a policy for the customer. So
hmm,
in Guidewire also the same process they followed, or there is a different process they follow.
no, no, same thing. So what they will come is customer comes to the insurance company. They will not. Yeah. So here, instead of going to bank, they will go to the insurance company. They will give you the requirement. Agent,
Huh.
agent will take the requirement, and then they will create a policy on their behalf.
So my question is how you differentiate with the underwriter means agent. Is there any code or anything?
Yeah, that is there. So if I show you one policy contract, right? This is the policy, right? Here.
Yeah.
So here on policy, you can see this is the underwriter and this is the agent here. You can see both the people detail here. See every code or on every code, every policy, you will have an agent and you will have an underwriter. That is for sure. It will be there. You see that no here. I mean here, yeah. So agent
Hmm.
detail you can see here. Who is the producer here? You see that right? Who is the producer of
Hmm.
service and
Hmm.
engagement we will have. And you will see the underwriting company also here somewhere. 1 second. It will be there in your policy summary, policy info screen. It will be there. Yeah, you see that no here. Where is the underwriting? 1 second. So here, I think somewhere you see the underwriting company. This is the producer. No, 1 second. I'll show you that here. Somewhere it will be there. Underwriting company that is mandatory. You have to select somewhere. It will be there. So yeah, it is there. No, see underwriting company is there in the policy
Hmm.
contract.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if you see any underwriting company, and this is you understand from this company, any of the person will be there to I mean basically to review this who approved your this thing your contract. So this guy these company guy has approved it. This is not basically this is a group of people, okay. And who is
Hmm.
your
Hmm. Hmm.
agent? You can see the agent information here.
Okay. And another one thing, I was working in another bank, okay, another
Mm,
application of the
mm,
insurance. So there
mhm,
is a checker and maker concept. So in
mm.
this application also you have a checker and maker concept or only
Correct.
input
Yeah,
and
the checker and maker, it will be done by these guys, underwriting only. So, I mean, on every selection, or you have to prove basically, right? None of the fraud information goes into the system. These
hmm,
guys, they will, there are different checks are there. Checks basically, we call
hmm,
it as a business rules here. So,
hmm,
different type of business rules we configure. And
hmm.
before you do the code, even there are different notifications comes to these guys. They do the check, and after check only code is created.
No, code created for agent you are talking or policy code you are talking. Which one?
I'm talking about the code created by agent also cannot be given to the customer directly. It will be reviewed by these guys.
No, I'm talking that just think that I'm a customer and you are a insurance agent. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
went to your office and you created a policy as per my requirement and give it to me a paper. Okay, when you create the policy, there is a policy number created, right?
No. It will not immediately, but yeah, there is a code number we'll give you first.
Yeah, okay. So my question is when you input all the means information in your Guidewire system, you are the
Mm,
inputter or you are the maker, right?
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, is there any layer who can check and who can authorize the paper? Yes, it is correct. So you can go ahead with the insurance. So is there any authorizer concept is there or checker concept is
That's what
there?
I'm
That
saying.
is
No? So let's say agent, what they will do, they will take information. Let's say I'm the agent. Okay, what I will do, I'll give you give me a requirement. I'll give you the code. Okay, the code is given.
yeah.
Code is not the actual policy contract in the system, right? After you, so what you have to do is you will take the code. You will finalize that you want to take the policy with me or not. You will tell me, right?
Oh,
If you find with the
okay.
premium after the, then what I will do is I'll take the code forward to the policy contract. Code is not the policy contract. First of all, code is just to give you the heads up that if you take this coverage, this is your policy. That's not the actual policy center
Okay.
contract. After the
Okay.
code,
Okay.
your policy contract will start creating into policy center. Then it
Okay.
will go through
After all the
different review.
verification done and
Yeah.
customer approval done.
Then
Yeah.
exactly, it will not by that will not be issued immediately. Then after that, we will your code will review through underwriter. Underwriter will decide whether they want to give you a policy or not.
Okay.
Agent will just convince you, ma'am, you take policy with me. Simple. Agent cannot then agent cannot take a decision that they will give you a policy or not. They can convince underwriter, but it's all underwriter decision. So these are the big guys actually.
So underwriter is the last person who takes the decision whether the policy being issued or not, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
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 And what is the
So
term called when the policy finally got issued? So what that policy number generated? What is the term called? It is a policy number or anything else in
now
guide?
that we call it as a policy in new business. We call it a submission term. So so here we call it as a submission. So when the policy is quoted, it is quoted. You see that no here. So let me show you some policies here. So if I go to this account, let's say if I go to this account, okay, if I go to the policy transactions, if I let's say go to this, you see that no, there are two numbers are there. Right? On personal, this guy has taken a personal code to policy. There are two number. One is the transaction number. This is the code number, and this is once this guy has finally taken the policy into Guidewire, there's a policy number we created. This policy number will only be created once the policy is approved everything. Okay, it is the contract is live into system. Then only this number will be created. And
Okay.
this transaction we call it as a submission transaction. If it is just a code transaction, then you will see the type is code here. There are different types of code. We will see that, and you see that the
So,
status is bound. Yeah.
so can you just tell me the concept means if anyone asks me that what is the difference between submission
Yeah,
and
we will
the
learn. So I think you are. I know you are eager to learn, but we will learn that.
okay,
So I mean, I told you right in different in transaction class we will learn that.
okay, okay,
So we have code, we have quick code, no quick code. We have quick code, full code. That time we will learn. Today is just an introduction. I mean, I know
okay,
you're curious to know, but we will learn that in that class.
yeah, okay, okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah. But after 12 or 13 days, you would be able to give all not these answers, but a lot of other answers also.
okay, okay.
Okay. Now coming to this unsaid work. Okay. One second. So unsaid work, there is one more feature in Guidewire. Unsaid work, how does this work is, let's say, okay, let me come to the end. Okay, here there's something called as, you see this button also, right? This, if you hover your mouse here, it says unsaid work. So what is this unsaid work? Basically, what happens is, if I'm going to create a new account, there's a new account. Okay, I'm going to create a new account. Do not get confused here. I'm just doing for demo, but when we actually work on this account creation, we will learn this end to end. Okay. Okay, one second. Okay, let's say I'm creating a new account called John Parser. Put some matters here, work phone number. Okay, let's leave it like this. Now, if you see here, earlier, this button was, I mean, it was not green. Now it is green. If it is green, it means I have some unsaved work. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm leaving this page as it is. Okay, I mean, I got some important work, and before when I was creating this account, I got some important work, and I left the page like this. Okay, after I left the page, I forgot to create this, and then what I come to, I clicked on somewhere here, and I come to desktop. Okay, now the account which I was creating, it was in between, it was not completed, right? I just entered very few information, and I left that my work as it is. If those kind of things happens, and if anything, if any of the work you leave in between, and if you're not able to complete that, those information automatically goes into the unsaid work. Here, if I click here, you see that no, here I can clearly see that what, so if I click here, you can see that the create account is in progress. If I come and click here, it will take me to the same page, right? You see that no, here. So it is basically whatever draft transaction I have, whatever work it is unsaved, it is automatically get saved here, and then you can access from here. So that is the one. It's not only this. I mean, whatever unsaid work, let's say create account or whatever page you are, let's say if I'm on activity, okay. If I'm trying to create a new activity, okay, I cannot do that now because I cannot have, okay, any unsaid work. We will see this more fit. So any unsaid work which I have, it will all be registered here until I log out. Let's say before my into my, so these things are all stored into the current session. As soon as you log out from the current session, these things will go off. So what happens is, let's say if I want to if I want to come here, you see that right here, all the information I need to enter, because these most of the, so whatever you see with star, those are the mandatory information I need to enter in order to complete. If I don't do that, you will get the validation error. You see that no, all are mandatory, you have to enter in order to create an account. Now if I'm not doing that, and so these unsaid work will be stored until your session. Okay, I think I cancel that. Okay, so it is still there. Now I'm in the account information section. I come to desktop, I think it is still there. No, it is gone now because I just canceled that account connection. So if I cancel it, not, let me create one account. No, sorry. If I create one more account here, okay. Now if I'll leave it like this, okay. Now it will come here, okay. So any unsaid work you have, it will be stored here. But now, if you forget to complete this work and you simply logged out, now if I try to log out, what will happen is will give you a notification. You say that now, do you really want to log out? You have unsaid work to it will be lost. So basically, if you have any unsaid work and if you try to log out, it will give you a warning message saying that you have some unsaid work. Either you really want to lose that work or you want to discard that, because this unsaid work will be stored into your per session. Yeah, as soon as you log out from the application, your unsaid work will be you will lose. You say that no, I still want to log out. I whatever work I was doing, it is already done, and I don't want that the dark work. So what you do, you just do a logout. After you log out, let's say after I logged out and if I log in here, what will happen is you see that no, I whatever work I was doing, it got lost. Not only this work, whatever work I was doing, everything will be lost here. But so this is the feature. Let's say if you are working on the application within a session, or if something goes wrong, or you let's say in between of account creation, if somebody comes to me, I'm the underwriter, somebody comes to me, sir, can you please approve this code, it's very important, customer is waiting for me. What I will do is I'll create an account for the another customer. In between somebody came and I started approving the code. But I can leave the work as it is, so it will go my unsaid work and then I can come back and complete that. So this is for basically tracking your unsaid work here. Now, so this one you got, then you see that no here. So this guy was creating an activity, creating an account, creating a submission, and creating an offering, and he leave the right there. So it is, or if there is a button also. Let's say if this whatever account I was creating, I don't need now. So what I can do is there's a button called. If I click on that button, that unsaid work will be deleted. Not entire. So this is in one session. Let's say in one session, if I click on this button, then a particular unsaid work which I was doing, it will be deleted. But if I log out, everything will go off. So that I can do from this. You see that no, if I'm when I was trying to log out, it was giving me a warning message that if I log out, then unsaid work will be lost here. Okay, now understand the main areas. I mean, what all areas are there into Guidewire. Now here, if I go to a policy contract, yeah. So here you see the different tabs, right? There is a first menu tab. There is a second tab. This is the detail section. You can see that, and there is a left side panel, and we call it as a navigation bar. Navigation bar we can see. So there are four types of things. We have sidebar, we have screen bar, we have info bar, and we have a tab bar. So here, this first section, right? This one we call it as a tab bar here in Guidewire. In Guidewire application language, we call it as a tab bar. Okay. This one we call it as an information bar because this bar does not come every time. Whenever I want to access any policy information, then only this bar you can see. Otherwise, you cannot see. Let's say if I go to the account, you see that no, I'm not seeing that info bar here. But if I come to the policy, you will see that the new bar is coming up, right? So this one we call it as an info bar. Whenever there's a specific policy information we need to show that, I mean, the high level information that what is the policy status, what is the policy, on which account this policy is created, who is the insured person here, what type of policy this guy has taken. So this one we call it as an info bar here, and this one is uh, a tab bar. Now here, this is the screen area where not customer, basically the underwriter and agent, they see the actual policy detail information here in this section. And this is the sidebar here. This is basically this all navigations. We will learn about this thing also. What all these things are there, but this is the sidebar through the underwriter and agent. They go and they create they enter the different informations here in Guidewire. And there is something called as work frame also. You see that no, I mean in preference. So here, if I go to if I go to my activities, create. mm, there is something called as work plan also. Okay, so if I create a new activity, okay. Yeah, you see that no, this section. So I already have my parent screen, right? I see you see that no, there is a parent screen and there is a child screen coming up. So if whenever you see anything on top of your parent screen, and this thing we call it as a work area right here, you see that no, this is called a work frame. And either this, or if I go to the preference right here, they are saying that if I go to the preference here, yeah, you see that no, it comes on top of my parent screen. So these kind of screens, when we design, we call it as a work plan here. Here we basically we capture the detail on, I mean, if we need to take the specific detail on top of the parent screen, then we design these kind of pages in Guidewire. So this one is called as a worksheet here. In technical language, it is called as a worksheet, but this area we call it as a workspace frame. This area, down area, you see that right here. So these are the four areas. I mean, in Guidewire application, we can identify that. Tab, now each area what it does. So tab area we have already seen. We can see different type of. This is the tab area. You see that right here. Cancel this. And this is a tab area. So main information. What is the? In desktop you can see the summary of everything. Account information you can see here. Policy information you can see here. Policy contact information you can see here. Contact means who is the new contact. You can search any specific contact. Here you can create a new policy contract. You can search a quote here. You can search a new policy here. An account, you can create a new account. You can search a new account. Summary, you can see summary of everything. Search means if you want to search any specific policy, account, producer, activity, and contact. This is search screen. This team and all. What is this team? Team basically, this is not required. I mean, we generally don't use it, but you can see the summary of this thing, your policy and all. You can see there. Administration screen, from here only we decide who you will be. Basically all the admin task or administrator, they create your group, they create your role, region, permissions, everything is designed from here. We will learn that into that class. Okay, here. So this is basically the first tab bar, and these are the tab you will see every time when you log into Policy Center application here. So what they are saying, that there's a collection of tab, jump box, unset work, and the option is there. We will learn this also. I mean, here you see that no, this thing we have seen, this unset work, we have seen the setting tab, but we have not seen this. What is this? Go to tab, right? This one we will see. Then sometime you will see this. Desktop bar, we have already seen that. If I come to desktop, I can see the history of everything. I mean, how many activities are open, submissions, everything, all the summary I can be able to see here. Here. This is desktop. Account tab. If I come to account. So account, if you just click on the account without any account, what it will show you? It will show you the whatever latest account is there. It will show you that account information here. What is the account holder information? What is this guy SSN number? What is the overview of this account? What are the current activities on this account? What is the billing cycle of this account? What are the transactions this guy has? What are open transactions? What are the claims in this account has? Who is the producer? A lot of information you can see here basically on this account tab. This one we call it as an account file. So here listing the account inside work, we can see here the policy tab. If I come to, let's say if I just simply click on policy, whatever latest policy is there, you can see the policy information. This one we call it as, this section we call it as a policy file. You see that no? This is policy file here. So what is this policy account information? What is the policy contract information? Who is the what is the premium of this policy? What are the pending policy transactions? What is the payment setup for this policy? What are the contact? What are the producers? What all transactions are already created for this policy? So there are a lot of information we can see as in the policy summary view. Okay. Contact tab, here basically contact tab, we can search different type of contacts. So here if I want to search, let's say if I want to search with any specific contact, Alice. Okay, Alice Applegate. Okay, I think this Applegate. I don't know why I'm not able to find, but there should be someone, right? Okay, Ray Newton. I'll search with this person. Yeah, you see that, no? So if I want to find any specific person, now then what I can do is I can provide this person first name, last name, and I can search this person, right? You see that, no? There's a person there created, and then if I want to search any specific contact, this is the search screen. From there you can search the quality contact. Here, this person information we can get it. Search tab I have already shown, right? That if you want to search with the first name, last name, whatever you know, based on that you can search. You can start searching it. Two type of search, basic and advanced search. So here in the policy search, basically what they're saying is no, sorry, here in the search, if I go to any policy, you see that no, and if I want to search any specific policy, but if you do not know the policy number, you can search with the policy in account number also. But if you know who is the insured on the policy, you can search with the first name and last name also. So there are a lot of different options are there. In order to search the policy, if you forget your policy number, then how underwriter and agent they can by based on different product, or let's say if they want to see a lot of policies together, they want to see what are the personal auto policies are there in the system. They will simply select here and then they will search. Okay, so there are a lot of information I need to provide. So they are saying that it is the product is not enough. I need to enter more information in order to search this. So they are saying either you enter policy, a lot of things I need to enter. So if you want to enhance your search, right, lot of policy, if you want to see together, then they use this search to search the policy. If you do not know, if they don't want to work on a specific policy or account number, then they use this search here in policy center, the underwriters. Then here in this one, we call it as a menu action. If I come here on account, sorry, if I come to desktop, you see that no, this one we call it as a menu actions. This one, sorry, menu links we call it as, and this is menu actions. So let's say if I come to account, this one they are saying that this is menu links, what all information you can access. If I click on contact, you can see the contact of this account. If I go to location, you can see what all locations are, on which location this account is for which location this account is created. So this one is menu links here. But if I want to perform a new operation here, then the action I have to go, and this is for the creating the new operation. So this is for the menu actions. From here, I can create a note, I can create a new document, I can create a new email, new quotation, I can create a lot of new, whenever if I want to perform any actions, this is one we call it as a menu action. And this is just to navigate through and refer that. Quick jump. Okay, now quickly learn the quick jump. Quick jump means, let's say I have this account. Okay, I'm on the desktop screen and I know my account number. Then how do I do that? So quick jumps means, let's say if I want to come to the same account without any search, then I can what simply do is I can type account and I'll put my account number. Okay. Now if I say enter, if I click enter, see I can come to directly on my account here. Now if same thing happens for policy also. I'm on my some other screen. I know my policy number. I also what underwriter and agent they want to refer the policy and account very soon. Like let's say I mean the customer care representative, right? If you call the customer care, they want to, you will call, ma'am, what is your policy number? So they cannot simply search, right? I mean if they search, they have to, and so what basically if they want to immediately refer your policy on the call, it is very less time they have to give you the answer, right? So then they use the search functionality. If they want to refer any specific policy, they simply type here policy, they give you a policy number, they click enter, they will directly come to your policy. So this is the quick jump means, if they want to quickly access the particular policy, they can use this facility. They can access your producer, just you enter, if they want to access policy, they will enter policy space policy number. If they want to access any specific account, they will enter account and space the account number, they will directly come to that account and policy. So this one they call it as a quick jump here. You see that no, if they want to access policy and this thing. Now localization I've already shown, right? In if I localization, basically I can set the regional format here. You see the no English and all. But as soon as if I change this thing, let's say if I change this in German, you see that no, if I change it into German, oh, it is not changing, but yeah, what will happen is this complete language will come here. There are two things. One is called a regional format, and there is something called as the actual language. Regional format is nothing but in let's say if I go to German does not have dollar, right? They have maybe they have their German dollars. They do not have the US dollar. They run the German dollar. So you will see that all these things will be converted automatically. I think let me go to Japan, or Japan will have their the yans or something. You see that no here. I mean I don't know. This is OOTP application. It is not getting converted. But if I go to any German thing, so if I'm when I'm seeing the dollar here, you won't see the dollar here. You won't see the German yans or this. So these are the regional format based on the region which you're working. Your regional format will change. I mean, instead of dollar, you will see the specific currency. But in OOTP, there are two things basically. You can change the complete language also. The complete application you can see in German, but that option I think it is not available in OOTP. So if I come to this United States, you will see the application in English. But if I go to the German and all, you will see the complete application will be converted into that specific region language. So this is the same thing they're saying, that from here you see that here this is euro is coming right here. If you change the regional format, if you go to some European country, then your regional format will get changed. Here date format will also get changed. See, currency format can change, date and the label can also be changed. So everything will get changed if you change the, you see that no, here this is in this looks like a German. So here if you change the German, all you, this is not English. Okay, first of all, this is not English, this is all German. When they come to German, you see that no, they're seeing everything in the German. Even the regional format, this we call it as a regional format, and text, date, time, everything will get changed as per that particular country or region. Local and all same thing. I mean, which I have shown right here, the language and all. But language option I'm not seeing. But currently, language also you can see the complete application will be converted into that particular region. These are the roles I have already explained, which are the role we are targeting here. Business architect. I mean, this is the role currently you both are there, so we are good here. I think this training is mainly designed for that. How do we basically write the logic? There is a, I showed you right. This is the policy center, the studio we have. Same thing like in Java, they use Eclipse and all. Here we have the Guidewire developer tool. In the developer tool, we write all the logic and then we deploy our application. Once it is deployed, then only the user can access the information here. So this is the tool they have designed. This they call it as a policy center development tool, policy center studio we call it. So all the pages, everything we design here into this tool. This is all technical. Basically, if you want to do some edit, how do you do the do edit and all? How do you, if you want to change any the information is specific to the customer, how do you do that? This is very important. This is the product model where mainly the business comes, they log in here and they design the product. You see that no here, how to design a new product, policy line, question set, and all those things. We will learn this when we come. So this tool they call it as a product designer. So product designer is a web-based tool for business to users to edit the product model. The existing product information you can update or you can configure a new product also. So those things you will learn here into this. Okay, so today we have completed our introduction class from